Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Not sure if the rain has hit you or not yet,
or if it's hitting at all.
or if it's going to hit at all. We drove through a bit of a downpour on our way home and then got closer to our home and it all dried up again. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that it's not going to decide to pick this time exactly to have a storm so that I can get through this awesome video, this demo that I'm sharing with you tonight. I see people tuning in. Hello, hello. We'll just give it another maybe 30 seconds or so. I'm pulling something out of the archives. And I mean, that's making it sound older than it is. I want to say about this time last year, Spellbinders was celebrating their birthday. I think it was their 20th birthday. And they came out with some really awesome dies to celebrate their birthday. Well, these are a couple that are still kicking around the store, and I thought I would have some fun playing with them and sharing some ideas with you tonight. So the first die is called Pick Your Greeting Slider, and they're showing it on a cute little card here, and it's got this interactive little pull tab. It's got some different words, and I actually have a sample, so I'm going to show you that in a second. This is by designer Tina Smith, and again, it was all part of their birthday celebration. And then to go along with it, this picture doesn't do it justice. I'll pull the dies out. There is a slider bar accents. So if you look, I've pulled it all out here on my magnet sheet. This is the mechanism over here. These are those different sentiments. And then this arrow went with the main set. And then this is what was on the add-on set. So there's a heart and there's a little detail layer that can go in or stay out. There's cupcakes, there's ice cream cones, and there's candles. So all part of that birthday celebration. And with the my earbuds just went off. Can everybody hear me okay? Matt's gonna go and check in the other room. Not sure what's happening. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, it's still set.
All right. So we're gonna rock and roll. So these two great little die sets work really well together, and you can use them for so many different occasions. This would make a great graduation card. It would make a obviously a great birthday card or just thinking of you card. And you know what? Here's the little sample that I made. I was inspired by all our lovers of purple. And I used some lawn fawn paper. I used some of our Miri Lava card stock in that purple. And the idea being is that you pull this little tab and it's like, you are in my heart. You are sweet. You are my fave. You are the best. And you are a star. And I use that little heart accent here. So using this mechanism is actually quite easy. All you really need is some foam strips. Matt's going, oh, over here. But it is a really sweet little card. And I really kept it simple. I mean, I used the purple here and here. The rest of it, I literally just cut out of white and then used my markers to color in the background so that you've got all those different colors popping through the sentiment. But you know that I am not really good at doing things by the book.
What you're told?
Doing what I'm told. You can hear the peanut gallery out here in front of me. And what I consider one of my superpowers is taking something and using it for something it was not necessarily intended for. So tonight, I'm going to use this interactive slider die, not for a card, but for a layout.
Carol says you're going rogue.
What? I'm going rogue, but you know what? I will say that it is a planned rogue. I do have a plan in place, and we are going to get crack-a-lackin'. You know where to find me. I'll bring that back out tomorrow night. So I'm going to be using some paper from a brand new line from Photoplay. I'm going to find my little photo strip, my little advertising strips, because I don't, just make sure I get the name right. This is called Book Club. It's a brand new line from Photoplay. I'm not even sure if I've showed it on What's New. I think it's going to be in tomorrow night's What's New.
Yes.
So now you get a sneak peek. And I've just pulled a couple of sheets. So I've got this cut apart sheet that has 3x4s and a 4x6 right in the center. It's got this really, really fun kind of paint chip confetti. Almost looks like the pattern that's on a composition book from school. I've got this one here. It's got these pretty flowers on the back. And then I've got these two here. And so I'm going to use this interactive die to create just some fun elements on a layout. And, on a layout. I'm going to do a 2-page layout. Not just a 1-page, a 2-page. Let me just raise this up. Matt's just looking at me. He clearly, guys, he's not watched enough of my lives. All right, so I'm just going to build a really simple, basic layout. I'm a little crooked here. See if I can fix that. There we go. And I have the yellow with the hearts on the left, the teal notebook paper on the right. Sometimes I like to slice and dice these and match them up. If you guys saw my 15-minute layout on Friday, that's what I do. I'm actually going to leave this just the way it is. And my idea is I'm going to take these two panels here and put them on either side of the layout. So let me just cut this apart. And we'll start playing. It's not going to be a super detailed layout. There's not going to be a whole ton of embellishments on it, but that's okay because I want that little interactive piece to be the hero. So there we go. I've got my two pieces here, and it actually works out that I've got the yellow one on the teal and the teal one on the yellow. Now, when you're doing a layout and you've got two different pages for your background, it is helpful if you have something that stretches across the two pages to connect them. So this is where I'm going to bring in the flowers that are on the other side. And this piece is, it should be 4 inches. Yep, it's 4 inches. I'm going to cut it in half at 2 inches. Like so. And it's going to stretch across the two sides. So let's get these just loosely placed. Make sure I know where everything's going to go. That's going to connect my two pieces together. And you're saying, but Sheri, what about your photos? Don't worry.
You don't need photos.
Don't need photo on a layout. Matt's just talking crazy talk. But I do have photos. So one here and one here. And then if man, someone wants to cause trouble tonight. I'm going to use the die just for placement. And let's see if we can get this snugged in the middle. Because I do want this to kind of go here and then my photos there. And I should still have a nice little border all the way around. So I'm going to just start sticking down so that everything is in place, and then we'll just really focus on that interactive. So let's get that one out of the way for now. Are there any questions so far, Matt?
Nope. No
questions. Anybody have questions for me? Please do leave them in the comment. The troublemaker, Matt is manning the comments. He will fire the questions at me. I'm going to come up about 2.5 inches across here. And you know what? If I was really going deep, I might put maybe even pull that red and do a cardstock in behind or ink the edges so that pops out a little bit more. But for tonight's purposes, I'm going to leave it as is. This flower paper is so pretty. I love the yellow and the teal together. So I'm going to bring this here. I do want to cross over my strip so that it helps to anchor it. I've only got about an inch here because I want to make sure that I've got space in the middle here for this interactive element, and then my 4x6. And I should
be tight.
Yeah, it's going to be tight, but we can make it work. Oops. Too fast with the tape runner. All right, so I'm going to put this up towards the top. And again, there's about 1/4 of an inch over here. And it gives me a little wiggle room in between. All right, other page. Don't lose the die. So I'm doing this so that I can line up my little flower strip. I am a big proponent of what you do to the left, you also do to the right. So that gives you good balance. I'm going to just line this up here. And again, having nice stripy paper gives you something to follow to keep your paper nice and straight. All right, so this time, this one is down. This one I think I'm going to go up. So maybe, let me get this up.
What are you doing?
I'm just going to move it down a little bit. No, it's not coming up, so we're going to leave it. Just go with it. Just go with it. All right, this one, like I said, is going to go up a little bit. I'm still crossing here, so it's still anchored. And my second photo is going to come down here. So I've got a nice flow of the eye as it comes across. All right, let's squeeze it back onto the camera here. So I'm reading across, my eyes traveling down and out to the other side. So now it's time to add our mechanism. And I'm going to use this mechanism with the arrow, maybe not with the UR. I think the idea with this is that you actually write in the names of the books that you've read or my favorite books. So this would be my whole Stephen King row. This would be
Your other
my
Stephen King row.
my other Stephen King row, and this would be my murder mysteries, or just some of the ones that I go back and read over and over. Maybe while you're watching me do this, while in your comments, put in the comments what your favorite book is, your all-time favorite book. Mine is Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I think I've talked about that before, and got a few other favorites too, but that's kind of the easy one to say. All right, so I need to make 2 mechanisms, one for over here and one for over here. And I did cheat a little bit in that I've got a few pieces already prepped. So this is our little pull tab mechanism. And I do recommend, unless you are using a really heavy cardstock, cut a couple and layer them, because that will give you a little bit extra oomph to your pieces so that they don't bend or fold or get all warped up when they are, because this is really the key. This is what's pulling your piece in and out. I also cut a couple of pieces of white just for background, and I have not cut this piece yet because I don't know what color I want to use yet. All right, so I'm going to take 2. Let's get this out of the way so I don't get glue on the actual layout.
While you're doing that, a couple of people have put in their thing. Debbie Westcott's favorite book is any book by Louise Penny.
Louise Penny. Oh, I'd have to look that one up.
And then Jan Laval likes The Watcher by Dean Koontz.
Ooh. Well, Jan and I have had Stephen King conversations and that kind of thing. So I know she is very similar in tastes to myself.
Well, Darlene likes The Murder Mystery by James Patterson.
Oh, James Patterson. Darlene, you probably will also like, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it, but Jo Spain, J-O, it's a lady, I believe she's from Ireland. She does some really awesome murder mysteries as well. And I think over in the UK, they're turning them into TV shows and movies, but haven't seen them here in Canada. All right, so I'm just layering these guys up now so that they can kind of set. We don't need them quite yet, but again, this just gives your pull tab a little bit of extra something. And I need to pick colors for my actual frame. And I was kind of thinking So we've got some scraps of this Mary card. I kind of like the black. The black gives it a real pop and pulls in some of the black that's here, but I also kind of like the gold.
Black.
Matt's saying black. What do you guys say? Black or gold?
They're still putting in their favorite book.
Oh, okay. So I won't ask too many questions. So maybe what I'll do, I'm going to compromise. I'm going to do black for the frame on this side, and I'm going to do gold for the frame on this side. Because, you know, there is two.
See? 3 people said black. See? And Carol likes All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr.
Oh, that's one to look into.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let me cut out some strips that I can die cut these frames.
Everybody agrees with me.
Okay, we're all going black. Okay, we'll go black. No worries. One piece. So this is the Black Mary lava paper that we have from the paper cut. And I'm going 1 3/4. I think that's plenty enough to cut these strips. All right, sorry, I'm going to take this off camera. You guys know how to die cut. Only can do one at a time because I only have one die. But the beauty of Spellbinder's dies is that they cut usually in one pass. All right.
I'd say you should use your new Gemini, but it's at the store.
Yeah, the Gemini. Oh, whoops.
What was that?
That was my glue lid. It's
Oh.
all good. We'll find it later. So there's one frame. And I'm going to keep this little insert because you never know. You never know when you're going to need a little extra piece of something. And let's cut up this other one. Cranky crank. All right, so easy peasy lemon squeezy. We've got this cut out, extra black. So again, when I look at this and I see how curly it is, I might want to cut another piece of white just to stack it. But for tonight's purposes, I think we'll be okay. When making your mechanism, the foam strips from Scrapbook Adhesives are your best friend. They are almost perfect length. They're a great thickness, a great height, and super easy to work with.
Oh, you don't need to tell Darlene that one.
Yeah, Darlene is a fan. I'm a fan. I think our whole team is a fan. So what I'm going to do, just to walk you through, tell you what I'm going to do, is this mechanism needs to get squeezed in here. Pretty easy. So I'm going to flip this over. Let me see. I'm going to come back down. Sorry, guys. Whoops, wrong. Wrong though.
What are you doing?
I'm just doing the wrong things here. So that's not going to do a whole lot better. All right, never mind. I was trying to zoom in, but you know. Oh my, this is just not my friend tonight.
The wonders of live.
Live TV. All right, so let's get this nice and flat, or as flat as we can get it. And I'll lay it out here. And then I found it easiest to take my little pull tab and lie it in place. And by in place, what you want is, see if I can, you want the little bottom of that semicircle aligned right at the top of that frame, outside the frame. So
you need to hold something?
No, I don't need you, but thank you. What I'm going to do, I've got my die tape. I'm just going to do that just to hold it in place. And now I need my foam strips. Now, the first time I did this, let me take this back up again. The first time I did this, I did it wrong. Shocker. If you notice there is a little notch here, do not put your foam tape right against this skinny part. Because if you do, then your pull tab's not going to be able to pull up. What you want is you want your foam tape on the outside of that frame. And there is a little bit of space at the bottom here that we're going to put a stopper against.
Cheryl says she can't pick a favorite book. It's like picking a favorite child.
Well, that is true. books are kind of like our children, that there's lots of good ones. So again, the foam is going, and it's on the outside. Picking a favorite book also kind of depends on your mood, whether you're looking for a good beach book, a good cry. I will bring this up close to the camera in a second once I get everything in place. All right, and more. So now I'm going to cut little pieces just for the top and a little piece for, oh, I've got a partial piece over here from before. So I'm going to put a little piece across the bottom so that our little tab doesn't fall out. And then I'm going to use the rest. And I can even take that out now. Just to fill in the top. All right. So this is what your little mechanism is going to look like. While I've got foam tape out, let's get the second one ready. Now I know that they have to go on the outside. I'm not going to worry about putting that pull tab in place. It does help you the first couple of times, but beyond that, there we go. There's one. There's two. Snip. And this bottom one does not need to go, edge to edge. As long as it covers most of it, you're in pretty good shape. Just enough so that that tab doesn't fall out the bottom. All right, so I've got all my foam tape in place. And now all I want to do is peel the tape and put one of these guys on the back. You do not need to have this in place yet. All right, squishy, squishy, make sure they're all stuck down. The trick is, and what I found the absolute hardest was just getting it straight. Now it's sticking to me. That didn't peel right. There we go. Okay, so here's the tricky part. Forgive my head if it comes on camera. Get that lined up. There we go. So if you notice, I've got a bit of a white edge, but I can just trim it down as well as at the top. And let's do number 2. And I'm sure you're saying to me, but Sheri, you've got that stopper on the bottom, but how do you avoid it being pulled out from the top? Well, just hold that thought, because I will take care of that in a moment. That was my first go around. I'm like, how is this going to work? Oh, it all becomes clear. All right. There. Third one tonight, and that's probably the straightest one that I've done. That little backing bit is not going to get seen. So if you're not straight and cutting that apart, don't worry. All right, get rid of the scraps. And let's pick, I'm going to pick this page to work on first. So my thought is that I'm going to put this little mechanism here. And visually, it's creating a nice little diagonal between this panel and this panel, but it is also going to be where I put my arrow. So this can just get fed in, pull tab at the top into our opening, like so. And there is a bit of a wiggle room. Now, if you want to be sure that it's going to slide well, take your powder tool and just kind of go in through the opening. Make sure that this is all nice and slidey. Slidey, is that a 5-letter word that we could use in Wordle? I don't think so. All right, so that's going to go in there.
I don't think so.
And then I'm going to use my fave, This was one of the dies here, and it does just cut out the words. This back panel here cuts out the shape, and the other dies just cut out the words. So I also have, I believe I have, in my little bag of tricks, I have an arrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut, because I want this a little bit skinnier than what the die would cut it as. Just going to go like this. Trim it all the way down. Make sure it fits on my arrow. And I actually just want the word fave. I'm not going to use the word my because it's not going to fit. So that's going to fit nicely on here. But I want that word to stand out. So I'm going to grab a marker. I've just grabbed a nice kind of cherry red marker here. And this is just the easiest way if you ever want to pre-prep some stuff and you don't have the right color of cardstock, or maybe you just don't want to take the time to cut out color cardstock because you've already got the white out. I'm just coloring my arrow with a marker. And I'm going to take my word fave and glue it on.
Using sticky specs or glue?
I am using my Nuvo liquid glue. I think I'm out of sticky specs, to be honest. Now here's the key. I want to make sure that my arrow is pointing to the left. So when I put my word on, make sure it's pointing to the left. And we'll scooch it. So there's my little arrow. And then all I have to do, and actually I think I'm going to stick that down first. And I'm going to use some score tape just so that it stays put. There's nothing worse than pulling an interactive mechanism and it comes flying off your page. Now, another question you might be thinking is, well, if this isn't a page protector, how is anyone going to play with it? When I do interactive mechanisms in my layout, I try to keep the mechanism close to the top. So even if they have to reach in from the page protector at the top, it doesn't pull, it doesn't wreck anything. You don't have to pull out the whole thing. The other thing you could do, if you were really adventurous, is cut a little slit in your page protector just for that little mechanism. I think I would just leave it as a tuck spot. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come down just a little bit on that strip, center it between the photo and the element. So there's our pull tab. And to attach my arrow, I'm just going to use a regular foam square, the small ones. I'm going to put it right here on my strip. Peel the backing. Oh, make sure it sticks first.
How do you decide where you're putting it on the strip?
How do I decide where I'm putting it on the strip? Well, because this arrow is going to slide, I want it towards the bottom so that it can pull up. If I put it at the top, it's going to run into the frame and not go anywhere. So there we go. And now I can just go. Whoop. So my fave is this row, and this row. And as I said, this is now your stopper that keeps your pull tab from coming out. Now you can go in and maybe add a few little extras around the outside, but just make sure that you keep that channel. I wouldn't put any extras on this side. You could maybe put something in this top corner because you don't want that arrow to get messed up. All right, we're going to do the same thing over here, but this time I'm just going to use a plain arrow. I do have another arrow here. I've already made this. Let me just powder the opening so that it's got nice and slidey. And let's put it on the page.
Cheryl agrees with you that Nuvo is the best glue.
It really is. You know, sorry, art glitter peeps. I know you have your favorite, and by all means, keep using your favorite, but I will tell you, in my many years of experience in this industry, adhesive is a crafter's most personal decision. So you do you, I'll do me, and we will just all craft together. So the key when putting the piece on, make sure you put the top at the top. So I'm going to put this in here like this. And I think just in keeping, I will color this guy red as well. Oops. Color my finger. But here, because I wanted to use some of that gold, I'm going to take a little corner of this gold and I'm going to use the heart, just the solid heart. And that is what I'm going to put on my slider. So give me my little heart here, or my little foam square. Get that in the center towards the bottom. Put my heart on here. And then I'm going to put the arrow on top. Maybe I'll just use liquid. Like so. So lots of different ways you can create little pull mechanisms for your layout. All right, and that is that for the interactive part. I'm just going to use a couple of cut aparts from over here to just finish it up, and then we will wrap it up for this evening. But if you take nothing else away from tonight, I would like to you to take this away. Interactive mechanisms are not just for cards. I know Darlene has used them a lot in her mini albums and her TN books. I love using them on layouts. So even if you are a scrapbooker, don't be afraid of trying some of these interactive.
Pull the card again too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up here. None of these are horizontal, but that's okay. I'm going to do a yellow one here. May your shelves always overflow with books. And down here, I should do a teal one. I'm going to do this just one more chapter. I know that was totally me as a kid, reading by flashlight in my room because I just didn't want to put the book away. And my parents thinking, well, why is she so tired all the time? Well, those Nancy Drews did not read themselves. They had to be read. They had to be devoured. Nancy Drew was my spirit animal when I was a kid. So there's the yellow one. Oh, I didn't get that one very good. See if I can get that one a little closer. All right. So this one,
Oh, you're another Nancy Drew fan.
Another Nancy Drew fan. Excellent.
Cheryl Taylor. She read them by flashlight as well. Same generation.
Exactly. So I'm going to just tuck this one here. And let's tuck this one down here. I mean, you could absolutely fill those with photos instead of the cut apart cards. But look, nice simple layout. I mean, I'd want to go in and maybe do some fussy cutting, add some more extras and everything else. But a layout you can play with. So that is the Spellbinders. Let me get the name right. Pick your greeting slider. But this mechanism does work in many different ways, whether you choose a layout or if you're making a sweet card for a friend who loves purple or any other color. And I encourage you to try interactive in all your projects, because even though projects made by hand are awesome, they're even more awesome when you can play with it. And you can wow people with, oh, look, I'm so talented. I can make an interactive card, when really it's super, super easy. So that's it from me tonight, everyone. I hope you picked up a couple of tips and tricks. And I encourage you to try some interactive stuff on your projects. We'll see you tomorrow night for What's New. Stay cool if you can. Stay dry if you can. And we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.